And what is up, everyone? I am Joe DeHoyos. I'm host of Beyond the Woodline. Real quick before we get started, um, just to remind you, in October, we'll be going to recorded shows. Um, so nothing will be live. I might do a live one every now and then, but for the most part, I'm just going to go and record shows. It's just a lot easier. And sometimes I make mistakes and I book the wrong person on the wrong day after we already talked about. Yeah, so this is a good example right here. But anyway, yeah. Um, it then sometimes gets canceled. There's technical difficulties, and it seems to be happening to me quite a bit here lately. So I kind of just made my mind up in October. I'm gonna start recording. You'll still find the shows on YouTube and on Spotify, and of course also on Nighthawk Radio, which you can go to live365.com to find. But just type in Nighthawk Radio in your browser, you'll find it real easy. There's a bunch of other shows on that channel also. That's a lot of great uh, podcasters, and they've got some great guests and different topics. So, what's up, Wendell? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Yeah. So you guys, in October, be prepared for that. And yeah, you guys don't tune in to hear me talk all night long. I have with me today Miss Taylor. Taylor, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Great, man. Thanks a lot for doing the show. It's good to be able to talk to you a little bit before we came on. If you
Mhm.
don't mind, give us a little bit of background on yourself and what got you into this crazy field we find ourselves in.
Well, so it started in high school when I was 16-ish, and me and my best friend had an experience together, um, just in an abandoned house. We weren't even looking for paranormal. And it just kind of sparked, and that was about the time that the show Ghost Hunters was coming out. So it was just kind of becoming a lot more mainstream. And I just got really into it for a while, and then real life hit, and I went to college and I got a job, didn't mess with the paranormal for years, um, until all of a sudden, a few years ago, I was just like, I want to do that again. I want to get back in. And so I bought a spirit box, my first ever one, and just kind of dove head first and started investigating with my best friend. And now I'm just here doing what I do, and it's just been fun. It's been quite a long journey of learning and seeing what other people do and how I want to investigate, and what I don't want to do on investigations, because you have all these influences from the TV, shows, and then the amateur kind of YouTube channels, and then the YouTube channels that are successful. And there's just such a different dynamic. And I'm just figuring out what I want to do. And I think I've found my niche for myself.
That's pretty good because I've been doing this for a long time. I still have no idea what I'm doing half the time. So, it's a pretty similar story for me too. Like, when I was a kid, I mean, all the way through middle school and high school, I loved all this crazy stuff. And,
Mhm.
most of my friends had no idea that I loved this stuff. And, I had like books, on hauntings and stuff like that. When I got old enough to cut grass, I would cut grass, to earn extra money. And that's what I would do with my money, would go to the bookstore, and buy these crazy books, and about, they didn't have a lot on Bigfoot, but,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of books on hauntings and creepy places and stuff like that. And then after high school, I went to college for a couple of years, got married, had a family. So all that got put on hold. And then finally in 2012, I started doing it again and got interested. And that's how I wound up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's
just
pretty cool.
that nice reality break in
Yeah,
between to reignite.
yeah, yeah. I think I always tease them. I say, y'all are the reason why I'm doing this now. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But it was funny because I used to take them out to some Bigfoot locations here in Texas, and like I said, I had no idea what I was doing. And in retrospect, I think I was using my kids as bait. So, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So, was there anything specific that that happened that got you back into this field?
Um, I'm not really sure. It just kind of was an idea. Like
Mhm.
you're aware of the YouTube channels and stuff, and I never really watched them. And then I just kind of was like, I just think I want to do that. It just felt right. Because it was an old passion, and I'm kind of circling back to the things that I used to love before, a lot of reality, hit, and it was just one of the things I loved, and I just picked it up again. And then it just kept going and going and going, more opportunities, and here I am. So nothing specific though. I wish it was like an experience or anything, just my own personal passion.
Yeah, yeah. So, what did you get into when you got back into the or when you got into the field? What I mean, how did that go?
So I knew I wanted to ghost hunt per
Okay.
se. And I knew what that meant. I knew what I had to do. We had like some very basic equipment, and we just didn't know how to start. We didn't know where to go. How do you find a haunted house? We didn't have any friends that were into any of this, so we were just kind of lost. And I think I googled like haunted house Texas, North Texas, or something very simple, and Hill House Manor popped up for Gainesville, not the Mineral Wells one, but the Gainesville one. And we booked a night and we went, and it was really active for and we were this was our first time ever truly like investigating a haunted house, and it was just like stuff was happening. We were like, oh my god, it's real. And it just kind of went from there. We've been back to Hill House Manor like tons of times.
Right. Yeah. So when y'all went, was it just y'all, or did you go with a group?
It was just the two of us.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, and it was our first time. And I joke that it was like throwing a virgin in a brothel because it was just so much activity and they were so strong. It was honestly a crazy experience. And our like second time going there, the spirit box through the SB7 said both of our names. So that was, and it's very clear, like it's not muffled. It's so super duper clear. So it was just so active. And so that kind of like confirmed that like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want more of this.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you go into this what was it called again? Hill Manor or
House Manor.
Hill House Manor. Okay.
Mhm.
I can't believe I never heard of it. But I know, but
Well,
I've been to the haunted Hill House in
yeah.
Maine. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
So
she didn't know it was haunted when she bought it.
okay. So how big is that property or the house itself?
I I have the property record, but not right here on me. It's I mean, I think it's fairly decent. There's like 3 bedrooms upstairs, at least like 2
Oh, okay.
downstairs, and then a whole parlor kitchen area. I don't have the square footage, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's
So how
easily
did
accessible.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so that's a big place for two people. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And we
yeah.
didn't even explore the whole house the first night because we
Right,
were just kind of like in different rooms. Not like we were stuck, but it was just like, why would we leave? This is
right.
where it's happening.
Yeah, that's where everything's happening for sure. Yeah. So like, what's some of the best evidence that you guys had captured that night?
Well, that night, I wouldn't say we captured much. We had one camera and
Okay.
like 2 pieces of equipment. And then the next night was when it was like a couple of weeks later is when the spirit box said our names. That's on camera because we got smart. We brought cameras, and there's just a lot of voices
Mhm.
coming through on the SB7 in that house. And we don't get these voices anywhere else. And they're consistent voices. They're the same people talking. And they're saying cuss words, and you
Wow.
don't say cuss words on the radio. So we're trying to figure it out even still. And it's been a year since we started going to that house.
Yeah.
But it's more voices and circumstantial evidence. But I mean, we've got all that on camera.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love. Yeah, I love when you capture uh, some good evidence like that. But you know, I think it's even cooler, even without equipment. Like you said, the first
mhm,
time you went out there and you have activity, that's super
yeah,
cool. Yeah. Um,
that was
so
well worth it.
yeah. So were y'all like? I mean, so what were y'all expectations going to the place?
Um, honestly, I was expecting nothing to happen. Not that I wasn't a believer, I just don't believe that like haunted houses are as popular or common. And I still kind of have that belief, but obviously more so. I believe I believe more places have residual energy. So I went in just thinking nothing was going to happen, and then it turns out like there was just a lot of intelligent energy there. So completely unexpected for me.
And Adam is asking what location is it?
That's Hill House Manor in Gainesville, Texas, not to be confused with the haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells. So it's very
Adam,
up north.
Adam, are you here in Texas? I don't remember. I think Adam might be here in Texas. Yeah. Um, have you ever been to the Mineral Wells?
No,
Okay.
um, I want to, but they changed the pricing and then they changed the filming rights, and
Oh, okay.
it's just haven't. It hasn't been worth it for me unless I have a group, and we just haven't. We've been doing other things. So until
Okay.
I can get a good group and help pay for it and everything, it's kind of I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So like when I went, it was I won't say it was like active, but we had stuff happening. Uh,
Yeah.
So I mean that was pretty cool. One of the guys there, he had his homemade spirit box. They get the amplifier and then
Mhm.
they get the two pedals, and he was showing me how it worked. And we were in the kitchen, and he's like, "Well, I'm fixing to go upstairs and I'm gonna do a session." And Adam said that's a great place regarding the Hill House Manager.
Perhaps it is.
And that's Mr. Joshua. What's up, Joshua? He's a good guy. I don't know if you know, he's a great guy.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
and Adam said that he is here in San Antonio. Cool, dude. I was in San Marcos this weekend, but so yeah, so he was showing me the box and how it worked, and he's like, I'm fixing to go upstairs and I'm gonna do a session, and I said, can I go with you? And right through the box it said, come up.
Ooh,
Yeah, that was
that's
pretty cool.
crazy.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I love when it
Um,
just immediately answers. Like,
mhm,
and there's no questioning it at this point.
yeah. So like before we came on the air, I was telling you a bit about the house that I used to live in, um, and I tell you that I have been touched, and like really all my kids have been touched too. Have you ever been touched or poked?
Not touched or poked. Like I said, I had that whisper in my ear,
Mhm.
and I'm like very protected. I keep like a bubble around me, so I don't ever have any physical like touches.
Okay.
But I know I'm doing that. I can't even do the dowsing rods right because they just can't connect with me because I block it, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Okay. And see, I was going to ask you about that too, since we brought it up. So, like, I used to like really like protect myself, right? And
Mhm.
there's a young lady in our group, and she does like all the prayers and stuff. And then I wear my Saint Christopher necklace, and I have protection on me. But now I don't, because if I did,
Mhm.
I felt like it was too much, and so
Yeah.
like, when I leave, that's when I do everything.
Yes. Yes. That's what I've had to kind of trust myself to do as well.
Mhm.
Like, let my guard down, let things happen. And sure enough, things did.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like so like when they do their little group thing, I stand off to the back and I'm like,
Oh,
y'all
yeah.
do it. Yeah, yeah. 'Cause
I've stopped
I
doing
think
it before.
yeah. Uh, he says hit me up if you're ever in San Antonio. Yeah, I'll definitely do that, man. So have you ever legit been scared?
Yes. Um, there was a cemetery, and it's in not East Texas. It's very much closer to DFW than it is anywhere east, but it's still very like rural. There's like nothing around it. It's like I don't want to give away the like location for privacy and stuff, but um, it's called Cannon Cemetery, and
Mhm.
it doesn't really show up. It might show up on Google Maps now, but it didn't before. And we went there, during the day. I get B-roll footage, and it's a beautiful place. And then we go there at night, and the energy was just chaotic. It was bizarre. Like we felt watched like a million times over. Like I would have sworn there was a group of people there. And we were doing some spirit box, and it comes through, and it's another very clear spirit box response that says, I caught you. And we were just like, it was so clear, the clearest I've ever had. And we were like, okay, like that's weird. But then the longer we stayed there, it was more of the energy that scared me. It just changed, it got worse, it got darker. And I've been in other cemeteries, overnight and everything, and never had those feelings. It was just, there was something there with us. And I have another example that's from Hill House Manor, which I was actually way more scared this time than the Cannon one. But it was the same kind of primal feeling. There's a bedroom that's called the bedroom in Hill House Manor, and this was actually like a couple months ago. Me and Ashley were in the bedroom and we were filming and stuff, and everybody else was being like kind of loud. So we shut both the doors. And she was on one and I was on the other, and we just shut the doors. And as soon as we shut the doors, both of us just like immediate goosebumps, immediate primal fear. Like the weirdest feeling I have ever felt. I have never felt that fear without knowing that something was there. And we were like, okay, this isn't happening. That was the only time I've ever felt truly scared of the paranormal. It was just that immediate, primal, instinctive fear that something is here that wants to harm us. And it was right when we shut the doors, we shut ourselves off from everything else.
Hmm.
So unexplainable, but that was the scariest moment for me.
And
And I
did the
can't read
person?
the chat.
Yeah. What was that
I
now?
can't see them.
Oh. So was the person you were with? Did they get the same feeling too?
Yes, yes, immediately. We talked about we were like, we looked at each other like, what the fuck was that like? And we talked about it later. We were like, no, we're getting out of this room at least right now. And we're two women in what's supposed to be a brothel. Like it was a lot of
Yeah.
mixed, yeah, mixed energies. We were like, okay, something doesn't want us here, or does want us here, and we
Well, it does
don't.
want, yeah.
Yeah,
Want you to stay there. Yeah, yeah. Want you to be part of the tour next time.
yeah.
Sandra says, "Good evening, Joe and Taylor."
Wait, what? I'm sorry. I
Oh, I
can't
said,
read them.
Sandra says, "Good evening, Joe and Taylor."
Oh, good evening.
She's one of my longtime listeners. Probably my longest listener that I have. Um,
Wow.
yeah, she's been with me forever. But so what other places have you been here in Texas? I know we talked about the Bolton House. What was your experience like there?
So I don't want to unscare anybody from the Bolton house, but I feel like it was a lot of residual energy.
Mhm.
Sure, the equipment is going off like all night, but nothing would answer us. And I've been there, what, 3 or 4 times now. We
Mhm.
actually spent the weekend there. We spent Friday through Sunday. Yeah, through Sunday. And we had people coming and going. We were just kind of doing like touring investigations. And I mean, I don't want to say nothing happened because things happened, but nothing
Right.
was ever in response to anything. But it's a very interesting history. Jacksonville itself is just such a weird town. For a town known for tomatoes, it's got a bizarre history. So
Yeah.
it's smack down in the middle of that. The founding family built the house there. Just a lot of weirdness, a lot of residual, but from different areas. But it's a beautiful place. It's very fun to stay at. Activity does happen. The equipment does go off.
Mhm.
Yeah, nothing like directly answering.
Yeah, Adam says Bolton House is great. Yeah, we didn't have like a ton of activity, but one of the things that happened was one of the girls, she was up there doing an EVP session, asking questions and talking, and when she played it back, something shushed her. It went, shh, you know.
That is so bizarre because we were doing double Estes, and this was like a weekend or two ago.
Mhm.
And the other girl who was doing, she was under and I was under, she kept hearing shushing. And I don't want to say I didn't believe her, but I was just like, why would they shush that much? Like that's such a weird thing. So now that you mention it, it's like, okay, so there's something there that just shushes people. Because
Yeah.
I never heard it,
So,
but I mean,
so this was the room that was upstairs that had like that little parlor. You know what I'm talking about? It's a real dark little, I don't
the
know,
seance room is what
the
they call it.
seance room. Yeah,
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 it's like a nursery turned
yeah,
seance room.
right, yeah, yeah. That's where she got shushed at. So I don't know if that's the.
Okay. We were
Yeah,
downstairs at the dining table, but still, I mean,
no,
whatever it is,
yeah,
travels for sure.
yeah, yeah,
We did learn, we had some weird answer. We did have an answer through dowsing rods um, about a guy named Ed that was possibly attached to one of the dolls because the doll was his daughter's and it got like bought and sold and somehow brought to Bolton House and that's why he was there. And it just kind of like encapsulated the whole night. Everybody was hearing from Ed that night, but I'm not sure. We looked up some things and I think there was an Ed Taylor. I think he had said Ed Tyler, like is what she heard, but it was Ed Taylor when you Google it. So it was close enough that it's like, I don't know.
Hmm,
Yeah, it was
okay.
just interesting. Yeah.
And one of the other girls got a dog barking, and it was
I a
inside the
dog.
house.
No, I heard a dog. And
Did
the
you?
box. I was under Estes. You can hear me. I
Oh
have it filmed.
wow!
I shout out, I'm like, that was a dog. and it was just "Arf!" Like it was a dog. You can't deny
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. It wasn't like a big dog, and
Yeah,
it and you know how I mean you could tell if a dog was outside or inside because you could kind of hear it like off the walls, kind of, and that's
yeah,
what it sounded like. It was
that
pretty
is
wild.
so crazy. So both things we experienced.
Yeah,
The
that's pretty
shishing
cool.
and the dog barking. That's actually really cool because I haven't talked to anyone else that's really stayed there, just
Yeah.
kinda, like, visited and toured and stuff. So that's
Mhm.
actually really interesting. But the dog being confirmed is
That's
my
pretty
favorite
good.
one because I was like, "Am I crazy? Was that a dog?" It was a dog. You
That's
can't
good.
deny it.
Yeah. And Adam has asked, "Have you ever been to Jefferson, Texas?"
No, that's on my list. It's just I've got some things I'm wrapping up. But Jefferson, what does that have?
The Jefferson Hotel.
Yes. Okay, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mhm,
My friends have been there,
mhm.
and it's it's on my list because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
definitely interested.
They actually have a Bigfoot conference there in Jefferson,
Oh,
Texas.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've never been there, but it's on my list. The Jefferson Hotel is more on my list than the Bigfoot
Same,
conferences.
yeah.
you know,
Well, the
but
last group that went was, like, a huge group, and I was like, "I don't wanna go as a huge group, I'd rather just a couple of
mhm,
us." But,
mhm,
yeah, but that is on my list, Jefferson. I'm
yeah.
actually probably gonna move that up and go sooner rather than later now.
There you go.
Thought about
Yeah.
it.
So where else have you been in Texas? Any spots that are lesser known or
Well, the Palestine, jailhouse, the old jailhouse,
okay?
I'm actually going back this Saturday to basically wrap up our filming, but we get the whole night to do it.
Okay.
And I went in the middle of July and it was like really hot. Like it's like kind of air conditioned downstairs, but the second and third floors is where the jail is at, and it was not air conditioned up there. But that's where I got the whisper in my ear, was on the third floor. And that was an interesting night because, everybody was experiencing something at different times.
Mhm,
It was just there was, again, a lot of people that night, so
mhm,
I prefer much less people, which is why we're going back. It's just I feel like it's gonna kick up a little bit more,
mhm,
um, activity, but what was funny is we had nothing happening, right? And
mhm.
then they have the old jail cell, and the door, it slides shut like this, but it's with a crank, like a big hand crank.
Okay.
So as soon as we did that, um, several of the cat balls that we had went off all of a sudden, and we were like, okay, like that must have been the door vibrations. You think
Right, right.
logically, but
Mhm,
then they just kind of kept going off at different times while we were in there and not shutting and opening the door. It was almost like shutting that door like woke things up, and
mhm.
they were very um, against us giving them cigarettes. I thought it was going to be a great trigger object. They would probably trade cigarettes, as like a currency, but
Right.
it was very much like they did not want it. And we tried to be like, oh, the guards are going to let us. Like, it's fine. Like, they gave us special privileges. It was very like, no cigarettes and we don't smoke and all that stuff. So I thought that was weird.
Hmm,
But I mean, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect when I went there.
mhm,
But that history is interesting as
mhm.
well.
Yeah, I know there's a few jails around Texas that are pretty popular. Uh,
Mhm.
that's definitely something that I want to do is get to a jailhouse and check it out. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, I think that'd be
I like
very.
the owners of the Palestine one,
Mhm.
because they also turn it into a haunted house, and then they turn it into the Grinch's lair where they put the Grinch in jail, for
Okay.
stealing all the toys and stuff. So I like them. They're very creative and they're very nice. So that's why more I'm gonna finish that investigation fully because I enjoyed being there.
And what do you do with all your the video that you get?
It either gets turned into TikToks or I'm working on the jailhouse longer YouTube video. I used to
Okay.
do YouTube videos when me and my friend would investigate, but when it's just me, it's a lot. It's really difficult for me to get all this filming. I might have a cameraman this time, so that'll be
Mhm.
helpful. Just a friend of mine that I'm going to pay to keep me in
Yeah.
frame, but um, it's it's just hard by myself. Like so, I focus more on TikToks and funny stuff and the history of the places, and then I do evidence, even though things are happening. So I'm that's my goal this weekend is to film more evidence because I'm kind of bad at that.
So you'll go out by yourself then, though, right?
Well, I'm actually going with three other people, price wise. But yeah, I go to some places by myself, and then I'll swing by with other people because it's cheaper when we all pitch in, and rent the place. But I go off and do my own thing, and we just kind of split up into groups. So we're
Mm,
trying to make it smaller and smaller and smaller. But that's why it's good to have friends in the field because I don't have to
yeah,
waste all my money.
yeah. So what are some of the benefits of doing a solo investigation, you think?
Um, Benefits is I really feel like more things happen.
Mhm.
But with that, like, I have to make sure I'm filming in every room that I go into, and I might not be on camera, it's just the room, so who knows where it's gonna happen, like, but the benefits, I really feel like you're more vulnerable in a way, or you're just not distracted, um, you're not feeding off other people's energies. I have a lot of times people kind of derail I don't want to say derail the investigation, but derail the way I was going. And it's okay. Like everybody's doing their own thing.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. But something will happen that's like explainable. And some people will just hold on to that for like the rest of the night. And it's like, kind of want to move on from that. Like, I don't know if that's true. But that's why I just kind of like doing it on my own. I don't know, get more what I want out of it.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's very true. And I think that's but it's human nature, like you said. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to call them out, but I was with a friend
Yeah.
of mine. We were doing some Bigfoot stuff, and we're going down this dirt road into Sam Houston, and we see a dog crossing the road, and he's like, "What's that?" I said, "That's a dog." He goes, "No, that's way too big to be a dog." I said, "No, that's a dog." And we get up on it, it's a dog, and we were just so funny.
But if you didn't see the dog, clearly they'd
Yeah,
probably stick with that. Like, no, we saw like a dog man wolf guy creature, and it's like,
yeah,
did we? I don't know.
yeah. But, it's so much fun doing all this stuff. So I'm not going to ever complain about it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
we always have fun. Like I love going with people. I just don't focus on the investigation and filming, like the behind the scenes stuff. I don't focus on as much, probably because I'm having a good time. But that's okay.
so what is your favorite place that you've been to so far?
I have to say Hill House Manor just because we have some like special connections there. Um like it's like they know us,
Right.
They've said our names a couple of times, couple of different people, and it's the same voices. And we've literally played blackjack with at least two of the spirits there. With we would have the SV7 going with the speaker, and I mean, it's clear as day. They're saying hit or fold, and we're playing blackjack, we're playing poker, and we've played almost full games. And it's a little here and far in between. Like it's not going to be clear and concise every single time, but it's just I have the most fun there. But yeah, other than that, I went to a battleship in the USS North Carolina, and that was probably one of my favorites, but also like not much happened. It was
Mhm.
just very cool to be on a battleship overnight, knowing that it's haunted and yeah, seeing how they lived and where they worked. Like that was their daily lives. So that was probably those two are probably my top favorites.
And Adam is asking, do you have a bucket list location?
I do. I've so it's Tombstone, Arizona, which I've been to and I love it, but I have never investigated it. So that is my main bucket list. I'm very into the Wild West. I just love it.
Yeah.
And that's like my main bucket list. But I also would love to go to St. Augustine, Florida, and go to some locations there and actually really get into it, really investigate them, not just visit.
Yeah. So are you familiar with Old Town Spring here in this?
Mhm.
Okay, so Old Town Spring is, I don't know, maybe a 30-minute drive north of Houston, and it's a
Okay.
very haunted location. And
Right.
it's basically it was a little town, but now all the houses and stuff are shops. It's a real cool place to visit. They're all there's a ton.
Oh, I
Yeah,
mean,
there's like 100 little shops, and everything from clothing to crystals to antiques. There's a doll hospital there. There's like
oh wow.
yeah. There's a couple little places you can eat and have a beer or two, and just it's a really cool little spot in the daytime just to go hang out. But at nighttime, it's a very active location. Also, people wander the streets at night, different groups. Uh, you
Wow.
know, they don't get in your way. You'll see them, a few blocks
Yeah.
around. But so one day I took, my now wife. We were uh, we were engaged at the time, and we went to this one place. It's called Doring's Court. Uh, it's a small little courtyard, but it belonged to a judge where he hung like all kinds of people and did some really horrible things to people back in the day. And there's like this one little business. It's red and white, and they got this big window up out in the front. And I was walking. We were coming off the street, and I told my wife, "Hey, let's go check this place out. I want to, get my recorder out and do an EVP session." So I'm walking, and I get like almost all the way to that little building, and I turn to say something, and she's out by the street. She's out by the street. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "Nope." She goes, "I saw a black shadow move in that window." I said, "What do you
No.
mean?" And then she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "You didn't see it?" I said, "No," because I guess I was looking at my recorder, turning it on and stuff. She goes, "I saw it." She goes, "I came back to the street." I said, "Get over here." She goes, "Nope, I'm not
That's
going
what
over
I'm
there."
for.
Yeah. Oh no, not her. She's not there for that.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. This is my world. And this is Anthony Ceballos. He lives near San Antonio. Also, good guy. Yeah. He's a real good guy to hang out with and check out. And he's got an area out in San Antonio. Um, Anthony, what's the name of your area that you go check out all the time? He's got some good stuff out there. Um, what's the name of that place? Hopefully he tells us. But unless he wants to keep it a secret all to himself. But I mean, he's on Facebook when he goes out there, so it's I don't think he's
okay,
secret.
cool.
Yeah, he's a really good dude. Yeah, that's a really cool spot. We've set out our little REM pods. Some things go off. It's got a rich history of tragedy. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, the forest. It says the forest. Yeah,
the forest.
the forest. Okay, thank you for that, Anthony.
I'll
Yeah,
find it.
yeah. Just go out towards San Antonio. You'll find the forest, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There you go. But yeah, it's got a rich history. I can't remember the name of the tribe that was there originally, but the white men they were always fighting back and forth, of course.
Mhm.
So one night, uh, the white man said, "Hey, we'll have a party. We'll work everything out. Whatever." So they came that night. They had a party. They got them drunk. They got the natives drunk, and of course, killed many of them. And
And it was all good.
huh?
It was all good after that.
Oh no, no,
Oh,
yeah, they got the natives drunk, and then
oh,
they attacked and killed them.
they,
So the
wow.
remaining natives before they left, they cursed that little old town spring.
Don't blame them.
Yeah, yeah. If you ever get a chance, that's a cool place to go check out.
Well, I'm going to be in San Antonio in October anyways
Mhm.
with my friend. So I'm looking for places around there because we don't want to just do like the river walk. Like we want to actually like go to a haunted location. So I'm actually gonna I'm writing these down on my
Yeah,
computer. So we're gonna check out something around
yeah,
there for
yeah.
sure.
Adam and Anthony, shoot her some places you can go check out. That's y'all's
Yes,
area. Yeah,
I'll be there in October. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple places here, like I said, in Houston. If you're ever down in this area too, like Herman Park, it's basically
Yeah.
downtown Houston. Yeah, there's a lot of activity there.
That's weird. Downtown, like
Well, because before it was the big city, that's where they used to bring like a lot of wounded soldiers, and so a lot of them,
oh,
a lot of them passed there, so they're buried in that whole Hermit Park. And I think Texas is like only one of 3 or 4 states that you can build on top of cemeteries.
oh, I didn't know it was actually legal at some point here.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Anthony goes, yeah, we don't go to your normal places. No, he doesn't.
That's okay. I think it's more fun to go to places where they're not expecting you either.
Yeah.
Because you'll get those responses of like, you can hear me because they're just wandering around.
Oh yeah. Yeah. and that's the name of his group, Texas Wraith Hunters.
Texas Wraith Hunter. I think I remember seeing that. I think they just followed me actually on. That sounds really familiar. Texas Wraith Hunters. Yeah.
So, what's some of your favorite equipment to use?
Honestly, the SB7 Spirit Box, because I mean, voices really do come through. Like you can tell what's radio, and then you can tell what's probably not radio.
Mhm.
Um, at one place, we had it was literally a child crying through the spirit box, and like, there's no other way to describe it. It was a kid like crying,
Mhm.
and I mean, we were in an old school, but there were no children around. There's no explaining it. But the spirit box, I just feel like you can really connect with them because whatever phrase they want to say, you can hear it. Whatever voice they have, you can hear their actual voice if they're, strong enough, intelligent enough to communicate that way. Other than that, just like the basics, I can't really just rely on one thing. You never know what piece of equipment is going to go off, and I'm not really a high tech person. Like, I appreciate it when other people have like some equipment that I don't have, but to me, it just picks up residual energy. And it's like, okay, there's residual energy everywhere. Like, I
Mhm.
can't consider that evidence. Like, it is proof, of something, but I don't know. I just feel like all the gadgets just sometimes are overcompensating. And like, what are you going to get from it? Whereas the spirit box, you get their voices, you get the people. And that's why I'm in this, is to get to know the people behind all of this. Because they were people.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Um,
Yeah, simple gadget, but I love it.
so you mentioned the dowsing rods. Who uses that?
I tried, and so I like to debunk things. So I got them to see how it feels to fake it. So I would like make it say yes, and it's like the slightest movement. Like I can't even see my own hand moving when I make it say yes. But um, when it does work, it's bizarre because you can feel them being pulled, and it's not you doing it. I've seen some people that are really good at it, and it's amazing to watch. But I am not very good at it because like I said, I have that block. I don't allow it in enough, and it's a lot of work for me to push my guard down and let them interact with me that way. So I just got them for fun to debunk it. But then it was like, okay, so they do work sometimes, and I can't explain that.
Yeah. So is that something that you look for evidence that kind of correlates with other devices?
Yeah, sometimes but it's only with somebody that's like particularly good at it that I'll accept it.
Right.
Um, because we have one piece of evidence from Hill House Manor that's like a compilation of different things. Um, and it's the story of this guy named Henry. Because when we first started going there, we kept getting the name Henry popping up in different ways, and then other investigators were getting Henry as well. They weren't sure if it was a child or if it was an adult. Just the name Henry. That's all he would say is Henry. And I did some research about the area, and there's the Great Hanging of Gainesville from 1862. And so that happened in like October of 1862. They, in the middle of the Civil War, they rounded up about 41 men that were accused of being Union sympathizers. And they went to court and hanged them. And even the ones that were acquitted were hanged by a mob of townsfolk. So I looked into that, and three Henrys, died in the Great Hanging. So I brought that evidence over, and we kind of worked it out like, oh, it's probably one of them. But then the girl with the dowsing rods was getting to talk to a Henry, and the name Sarah popped up on like one of their apps. And we were like, who's Sarah? Like, that's random. And the rods just go straight to me. And I was like, okay, I'm not Sarah, I'm Taylor. Like, da da da. And she was like, is Sarah your wife? And they stayed still. She goes, is Sarah your daughter? And they crossed yes. And she was like, is Sarah your wife? And they stayed still. So she threw like questions. She was like, okay, so basically, Taylor reminds you of your daughter, Sarah. And it crossed for yes. Well, in my notes, I have it right here. One of the Henrys that died um, in the Great Hanging, and this is zero point 0.5 miles away from the house. So very, very close. That's why I was looping it in. He had a daughter named Sarah. So
Oh,
that's how I kind of pull evidence is I didn't know that. I just printed it out.
mhm,
And then she didn't know that. So she's got the dowsing rods and they're seemingly making sense. So it's just a collection of dowsing rods backing up previous evidence that I've already had. And
mhm.
that's kind of how I try to incorporate dowsing rods, you know?
Right.
Because you can't just every yes and no. It doesn't always mean yes and no. It's too complicated, in my
Yeah.
opinion, and you don't know if you're doing it sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always wanted a set. I just never gotten around to buying one. So maybe one day in the future I'll buy one. I've got so much stuff, you know,
Yeah.
uh, and it's always hard to figure out what I'm going to take, what I really want to take,
Yeah.
and what's the most reliable stuff. So, like I
On
said, I
different
got,
locations
yeah,
require different equipment.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like at the jailhouse, we can't use the SB7 because it's so blocked in. There's no radio. It's just white noise, and it's way more difficult to get an actual answer through white noise.
Oh, let's see. There's a long one here. Noel. I will try to read it all. He says, I walked into a cemetery in daylight with relatives there from recent to the 1700s. From 1900s to 1800s, I didn't make it to 17s. I felt easy, lightheaded, like I was going to pass out, so I headed out. Hmm, okay.
That actually happened to me in the Galveston Cemetery, that old city cemetery, the biggest one. It was the same exact thing. Just all of a sudden, like felt woozy and like you're gonna pass out. My heart was actually pounding for no reason. Um, so it's interesting. Some cemeteries just have this electric energy to it, and I think it just drains us when we go in there sometimes. Not every cemetery. Some are very peaceful and calm, but some of them are the really, really old ones. I feel like are really interesting.
Anthony said he just followed you. So good.
Oh, thank you.
Anthony's a good dude, man. If you go to San Antonio and you meet Anthony, he'll be happy you did.
I'm going to
Yeah.
be there this October, so definitely message me if you want to meet up. And yeah, we're looking for a place. I'm going with my best friend Ashley.
Okay, so do skeptics help or hurt the field, you think?
Well, considering I'm a pretty big skeptic, I don't know. I think if you're about it the right way, it can help. Obviously, if you're just going to be an asshole, it's going to hurt. But if you're being reasonable about it and accepting people's experiences as truth, because that is their truth, they believe that it happened,
Mhm,
then it can help. I think I'm a pretty logical, reasonable person, but I'm also going to listen to people when something happens to them,
mhm.
even if I can't really explain it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, like I don't discount anyone's experiences,
Hmm.
um, especially if I wasn't there, so,
Yeah.
but I am a skeptic, I'm pretty skeptical about a lot of things, and me being in the Bigfoot field, I know I probably get on people's nerves, but,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah.
that's a pretty blurry picture you got there. It could be anything.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
No,
so,
people hate to see me coming, but I mean,
yeah,
I'm just speaking truth.
yeah, but it's fun. So, have you ever thought about doing any kind of Bigfooting or doing anything out in the woods? And
I have in the past.
Mhm,
I can't remember what time period it was in my life, just it all blurs together, but I've thought about it. I just never, got into it and then, had a kid and that distracts you. So
yeah,
now
yeah, a little
I'm
bit,
really,
yeah.
yeah, and now I'm just really into ghost hunting, but I will watch more Bigfoot related media than I will paranormal related for some
Okay.
reason.
Yeah, so something that over the last few years that I've kind of come to a realization is that there's probably a lot more paranormal stuff that goes on in forests than what people think, and they lump it in there with Bigfoot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whether they're hearing footsteps or even hearing voices, uh, having stuff thrown at them. I
Mm,
think Bigfoot does all that too, but I think there's probably a lot more paranormal stuff that goes on. in the woods than people give
Probably.
credit for. Uh, especially in a place like the Sam Houston. This was a place that was heavily um, occupied by natives. The Native
Mhm.
Americans, and then the white men came in and kind of shooed them away. So there was battles there that took place.
Battles we
Uh,
don't even know about probably
right?
too.
Yeah, yeah. And there's unfortunately no telling what's happened in that forest. The last
Yeah.
200 years. Yeah. So I'm sure there's probably plenty of spirits walking around. I
Oh
actually
yeah.
came upon a little grave, and it looked like I mean, it was small. It may be 5 feet wide or long rather, and it was two headstones. And
Mhm.
I'm thinking that it was probably two kids because they're so close together. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
hmm
And like, yeah, what do they do? Do they
yeah,
stay in the foresty area? Have they moved on? There's
yeah.
just a lot of questions that go into it.
So what do you have coming up? What do you have investigation wise?
Jailhouse, Texas Jailhouse in Palestine is this Saturday, and then I'm going to an event at Hill House Manor again, which is with some friends. So it's just going to be like more of a fun time. But this one we're wrapping up filming. We're getting more investigation footage, and then I've just done Bolton like 3 times in a row, and Jailhouse before that. So it's been a busy September. So after that, I'm pretty open, and it's a good thing because now I get to choose what I'm about to do.
Yeah,
And then San Antonio, we're definitely going to one of these places. Like
yeah.
absolutely.
So what do you think you'll wind up doing, or do you have any plans in mind that any houses that you want to go check out?
In San Antonio or just in general.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just in general for the rest of the year.
I don't think we're gonna make it to Tombstone by the end of the year, but
Mhm.
that's coming up. I've just gotta, bookings and all that. And
Right.
then I've been to like North Carolina, Kansas, Missouri, and like Wisconsin. So like I've been to other states. I just need to go to more states. I've been invited to Louisiana, like the New Orleans area. So I'm gonna try to get that worked out. I just don't know exactly where.
Okay.
But that's 2026. Louisiana, Tombstone, bigger and better things, but I've gotta I've gotta work it out.
I got invited to the location where Bonnie and Clyde got ambushed because they said
Yeah,
that, I've always heard that it was very active,
yeah,
and yeah, so that's a place that I want to go check out.
yeah. So you haven't been?
No, I haven't been. I've gotten invited out there before, but I haven't been out
Yeah,
there.
I
Yeah,
haven't been either.
yeah. I mean, it's drivable distance, really.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like a fun one.
Mm.
Yeah.
Of course, Louisiana's got a lot of history too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's where I'm probably most excited to go, paranormal wise.
Mhm.
Me personally, I'm excited to go to Tombstone, but Louisiana, I'm like, I think we're gonna run into some shit there
Yeah,
for sure.
about 5 years ago, I went out there to go stay in this Airbnb that was supposedly haunted, but I didn't get anything, nothing.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah,
why I'm kind of wary when they like really push it that they're haunted. It's like I don't know, I'm not sure, but that's the risk. You just
I
gotta
mean, it was a
go
nice,
and find out.
it was a nice place for sure, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But in a city that's haunted, it's like it's supposed to be haunted.
And
They felt pressured.
so that's one of the risks you take, right? When you go to a new location, it's like, okay,
Hmm.
I can go here and I know I've got a good chance of getting some action, right? Or I
Yeah,
can go to this place I've never been and maybe nothing will happen, right?
exactly. And then there goes all that money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because like doing that stuff with the Bigfoot, I've gone to locations and like nothing has happened. And so Bigfooting is probably a little bit different than paranormal because I like camping. I like sitting out,
oh yeah.
next to a fire. So that's always fine with me. If I don't get any kind of activity, at least I'm out camping.
Mhm.
But sometimes you're like, man, I should have went out and went to my old area where I know that I will get something.
Yeah. But you never know. I mean, even that night, maybe it wouldn't have.
Yeah, yeah. And Anthony said, I went to the David Koresh compound in Waco. That place is very active. I didn't know that place was available to go check out.
Mm-mm.
Did you know that?
I did not. No.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's very
I just
interesting.
learned that the Conjuring house is for sale too.
Right. Yeah,
And
I saw that.
the last owner wasn't letting people investigate, right?
Right. yeah,
And yeah, so maybe that'll be open depending on who buys it.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully it's opened up. I we were talking about the house I used to live in. It was very active, and
Mhm.
I've always wanted because like me and my ex, we're on good terms. We're not like super buddy buddy, but we're on good terms. And I
Yeah.
always want to see if she'll let me go in and like investigate that house, like do
Oh,
a full
yeah.
investigation. I think she probably would if I asked nicely. But
Oh, yeah, just pay for her night out at, like, a spa or
yeah,
something,
yeah,
and
there you go. Yeah, go.
yeah.
Yeah, go. Yeah, yeah. But that's like the one place that I really want to investigate. Because from what I understand, there's still plenty of activity there. So
Yeah, wow. I don't know if I could live in a truly haunted house where there's, like, constant activity. Like, it would just
yeah,
drive me crazy. I don't know. I feel like my house is very empty, very protected because of
okay.
me,
Yeah, I was
but
going to ask you that. Do you have do protection for your house or
I do, yeah. Just in general, the same thing I do for me, just bigger, and I do cleanse it, with the Palo Santo sages and stuff.
okay?
So, but not like often, just whenever it feels necessary. But I never feel anything here.
That's
Nothing
good.
weird's ever happened.
That's good. So has this? I don't know how to phrase this. Do you have a different outlook on life and death?
A little bit,
Uh-huh.
but also it's just like it opened up a million more questions, than it did answers.
Mhm.
So, because my thing is, we know they've died usually, but are we talking to them post death, or are we talking to them in some kind of time slip from their time? Like,
Right.
there's no proof either way. It just, like I said, it just made way more questions. So, those are the things I would like to know, but I don't think
Okay.
we're supposed to know.
Yeah. So I kind of think that a lot of times too that not just a time slip, but maybe even like a time loop. You know,
Yeah,
and it's not necessarily residual. And I know residual can be played on a loop over and
yeah,
over. But these people might not even know that they're in a loop. I mean, we might be in a loop and we don't even
that's
know it. You know,
true.
you
Yeah, it
know,
just feels like life. Yeah.
yeah. So and somebody might
I
say, "Hey, I
always,
saw this weird guy talking on a computer just a few seconds ago."
yeah,
He
they're
was
just
he
walking
was
by.
right there.
Did
He
you
was
see
right
that?
there. Yeah. There was
'Cause
a lady on his screen in a purple polo.
we might look like ghosts to them too. We might be like not full, not clear, just see through. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's so much unlearned that after you think after all these years of investigation and people investigating, we'd have some answers, but we
right.
just don't.
Yeah. Actually, you got more questions probably.
Yes, yeah, tons more. It's never ending.
Well, cool, man. We're coming up towards the end of the show. I wanted to give you a chance to talk about your social media or any kind of contact information, any people where people can find you and check you out. I know I found her on TikTok. You guys, if you find her on TikTok, you're gonna love her. All her content is really great.
Yeah, it's funny stuff, comedic and history. I do a lot of history videos too on the places that I go. I make sure to tie in the history of the town, the history of the location. But yeah, TikTok and Facebook, and I'm trying to post more on YouTube. That's pretty much all I've got. It's just
Yeah,
me. I'm trying, but YouTube, I'm going to be posting a lot more on. So
that's good. And if you ever have anything you want me to promote for you, tag me in it, send me a link. I'll share it. I'll be happy to do all that for you.
cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. And if you're ever down in Houston way, I'll take you to that Old Town Spring, or we got
Yes.
to do some Bigfoot stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Am I
yeah,
ready for Bigfoot?
yeah.
I don't know. What
So,
equipment do you take Bigfoot hunting?
so I take my recorder, of course.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of cameras. I've got one that has night vision, and I have one that's a body cam, but it takes night vision or infrared, whatever. You can see at night with
Okay.
it, and
Yeah.
it's a body cam. And then a lot of times I'll take like those little chem lights that you snap in half and they
Yeah.
glow. Yeah, you should use that for your investigation too. Kind of hang them up, see if they get messed with. But yeah, I do
Huh.
that. And jingle bells, you could
Yep.
probably
Yep.
yeah stuff like that. Other than that, there's not nothing really fancy to it. Because we've got some
Yeah.
pretty good audios. Tree breaks, wood knocks, howling.
Wow.
We've got this owl. He was hooting, and then we hear this other like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah,
Wow.
it was
It's
so
like that's
crazy.
probably
Like
not an
that.
animal. Yeah.
That sounds like a 800-pound owl, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we got some
Oh,
really
it
cool
is,
stuff
yeah.
out there. Yeah, and yeah. So yeah, if you're ever down here, man, let me know. I'll be happy. That Old Town Spring, I think you'd love it there at night. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds
There's
right up my alley. I love old towns like that and little main streets and
right. Yeah.
then at night. Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Cool. Good show. That's what Sandra's saying. Good show. Thanks for coming on, Taylor. Yeah.
Yes,
If,
thanks for having me.
like I said, you ever need or you ever want me to promote something for you, I'd be happy to do it. Don't
Okay,
let me
cool.
do it.
Likewise. Yeah. I
And
don't have
everyone else, yeah, everyone else, I'll have a show next Monday. I don't know who I'll have on. I never know who I'll have on. Guys, you guys know that. I almost didn't have Taylor on tonight because I didn't know she was going to be on. I thought she was going to be on next weekend. And then, yeah, she wound up doing it tonight. So I do appreciate you making that adjustment for me.
yes.
Yeah. All right, everyone. You guys have a great night. Taylor, don't go anywhere. Hang on real quick. And you guys, I will see you next Monday.